Mike from B&M Property Management here. In this video, you're going to see some of our tenants that are agreeing with our petition and why they think it's a good idea. So I'm going to bring you to those people first before I do any speaking.
My name is Cassie Eden, and I'm on disability. I support the petition because then the rent goes straight to the landlord and doesn't end up going to anything else that is not needed.
My name's Darcy, and I agree with this because I'm on OW and I would rather it go directly to the landlord so people don't get to see it or handle it, because then it could be late, and I just think it's much easier.
My name's Mark. I'm on Ontario Works. I think that the petition is a good idea because of the fact that I know firsthand that there's a lot of people that like to take money from their Ontario Works and disability and actually use it for nothing. Use it for drugs, alcohol, Christmas, birthdays, basically not what it's meant for. We get money from the government not to use it on what we want. We get it for housing, shelter, and for basic needs, not for drugs, alcohol, and Christmas. It never once says for Christmas. You actually can get help for that at a different place. It is a good idea for people to get a direct deposit into their bank account, as well as getting it direct into their landlord, so that it guarantees that they have a place to stay for the month. That's what the money's there for. It's not for anything else.
This next part, you're actually going to hear from one of our staff members that due to the lack of work, what they're going through.
I think the petition is a good thing because as the owner of B&M, I've lost out on my cut of rent collected due to half of these people on welfare or ODSP deciding to not pay their rent for illegal reasons, or the fact that they had wanted to use the money for other items, and due to me not getting the money that I've been entitled to, I'm now losing my home. And I don't know where I'm going to be taking my 3 kids.
As some know and some do not know, it is hard to actually collect the outstanding rent or damage money from people on OW or ODSP. These fees to collect only get you basically their HST credit, or GST I should say, as well as the trillium. So really, if they owe you $1,000, to get that $1,000 is a $500 retainer to a paralegal, depending on who you get. It could be lower, it could be higher. But if you think about it, this is money that you have to spend to get money back. It could take you up to 5 years to get $1,000. Yes, they have to pay back the $500 you put out, plus what other fees are there. But the problem is, it takes forever. If this was already coming to us directly, there's 3 things that would happen. 1, we wouldn't be chasing them for rent money, so rent could actually stabilize. 2-bedroom apartments could be across the board $600, and owners would be happy because of the fact that they're getting their rent. 2, repairs. Tenants are always saying, oh, you're going to be a slumlord, or they're going to be slumlords because they're not going to fix anything. Well, you know what? They may not fix things. That's why they invented the T6. The T6 is a tenant's application to force an owner to do repairs. I'm currently on a job site where I'm fixing a leak, as you can see above me. This tenant pays their rent on time, no questions asked, and reports the damage on time. So we're able to fix things like that right away. But the problem also is, some tenants don't report the damage. This then takes longer to get everything. Excuse me. But the point is, 1, rent would stabilize. 2, we're not chasing them for rent, so we'd have the extra money to do repairs or upgrades without raising rent for tenants. I think this would be beneficial for all tenants. 3, as a taxpayer, or somebody who's employed full-time, you're paying into the government. Your taxes are going to these people who are on the system. 98% of them are good. You do get that 2% that is bad. And yes, People go, why rent to the people that are on OW or ODSP? Because they have a right to live and have a house or an apartment to call their own. But they don't have a right to trash it. Everybody knows this. People who are employed, we can garnish their wages right directly from the employer. We don't have to worry about anything because it's guaranteed income. People on OW or ODSP, little harder. But, there is ways of getting it. They're talking about bringing back the damage deposit. This could be a good thing, but people on OW or ODSP won't be able to come up with it. I think it was a few years ago that they scratched even paying last month's rent for these people. So what do you do then? They can't afford last month's because so you prorate it. Some landlords don't do that, some do. It all depends on the circumstance. People are saying I'm in the wrong business because we've lost this money. You know what? It's a business. You don't guarantee anything. But we try to get our money the best we can. Just like any other landlord. They want their money. But you know what? They get screwed. They say that they need a car, a truck repairs, beer, Christmas for their kids. There's excuses out there. These excuses cost people their houses, their livelihood. I've talked to other owners that have lost everything, including all their rental units, because these people didn't pay. And this is before we were able to take their GST or their Trillium or their income tax return. These people got away with it. Now, if you don't have the extra $500 or whatever it is the paralegal is going to charge you to go after them, they get away with it anyhow. Government could end up putting a slush fund together saying, you know what, we're going to put a slush fund for landlords that lose money. That'd be great. People wouldn't lose their houses. Like the owner of this company, she's losing her house. 3 kids, nowhere to go. Professional property management, no landlord's going to rent to them. Why? Because they know the laws. They know what has to be done, what they can and can't do as a landlord. So who in their right mind is going to rent to them? Possibly a good landlord that knows the laws as well and keeps up to date. But again, they know the laws, so they might say no. Every situation is different. And 98% of the time you hear this excuse, I'm sorry, but I don't think you can afford it. That is a landlord's way of saying, basically, they don't want you there. They'd feel that you're going to be a problem there. So there's always loopholes. B&M Property Management is working with MPP Rick Nichols in Chatham, Kent to do a tenant seminar. This seminar is going to take place on November 6, 2015. Location still yet to be determined, but we want to make sure that the tenants know their rights. As you've seen earlier, tenants are agreeing with this petition as well because they're seeing what other people are doing. And you know what? It makes it harder for people on welfare. Used to be you didn't pay, they should be charged for welfare fraud. They don't get charged. They're lucky if they get cut off because everybody has the right to live. But when an owner's losing their house, can't find anywhere themselves to live, where do they have their human rights? They're being stripped of everything. Therefore, what's being done to help them? Nothing. They're told, oh, you come up with $20,000 as a deposit, you can keep your house. But when you're not having the income come in, it's hard. So all you owners out there, taxpayers, even people on the system, think about it. How much easier would it be if you didn't have to worry about the rent money? You guaranteed that the owners are getting their money. The owners guaranteed to get the money. How much easier is it going to be for you? You can get up on the first, go do your grocery shopping. Don't have to worry about, oh shoot, did I overspend? You know what? It's paid. I know myself, there's incentives I'd be working on if this was to be passed. I'd be working on incentives of free cable for 6 months, a year, maybe full time, unlimited Wi-Fi. There's going to be some benefits to this because the owners will have more money to do upgrades, help get better tenants, help keep you as a good tenant. So we're hoping today that you will actually come out, sign the petition, and let's make this a law. Some people say human rights will be violated. I don't believe they will. Because where does it say that they have the right to keep their own rent money and pay their own rent? It's tax money. It's government money. In England, Ireland, and Scotland, it's already been law like that for a while. There's another country, I can't remember it, where they tell you where you're going to live, where you're going to shop, and you can't get alcohol or tobacco or you're automatically cut off. They pay for your rent, they pay for your cable, they pay for your phone. Maybe that's the way the province should go. Get a big situation of social housing where everything's covered for them. And they just shop at one grocery store and they don't have to worry about anything. They're just given an allotment of X dollars in groceries, diapers, whatever. Some changes need to be made. This is the first step in making them. Maybe we will get what we want and it will be mandated to go forward directly to the owner, or maybe we won't. Maybe we'll get the right to debit their bank account. But downside to that, if it bounces, it's going to take longer to serve that N4. The system is flawed, regardless of how you look at it. But we need to try and make a change by starting somewhere. So, you can download the petition from our website, www.property.net, or by calling 519-397-3902, and would be glad to come out and speak to landlords, tenants. I'd be happy to sit there and explain laws and explain what situations are, because unfortunately, they're not always the same. If you want to come out to the seminar, feel free to give us a call and put your name down to come out. We will call you the moment we have a location. It'd be great to have a number of the people that are coming out to want to learn what everything's all about. Like my job as property manager, I'm actually a middleman between an owner and a tenant. It is my job to tell the owner what his rights are and what his responsibility. It's also my right to tell the tenant what their rights and responsibilities are and help them through a tough time if an owner doesn't want to fix something. But they need to communicate with us, not sit there and slander an owner, slander a property manager, and say that they're not doing their job. There's more behind every scene that you don't know about. We personally will not get into it on places like Facebook or on different sites that sit there and say, oh, you're a slumlord. You know what? You can think what you want about any owner, but the problem is everybody's going to have an opinion, but not everybody's going to get 100% of the story. So, come out November 6th and learn. Give us a call. I'll be glad to come and speak to people throughout Ontario about this. I'll even meet with members of provincial parliament that have more questions to ask me myself. But we look forward to hearing from you.